up, YouTube? Have another week of training for you guys. A lot of footage this week, so I think I got a training clip from every day of the week, starting with upper hypertrophy, of course. So I have been incorporating incline bench press. These are just they were for 8s, and now they're for 6 to 8. So on all of my sets, I think this week I got 8 reps though. This 190 for 8, I think, is a touch and go PR for a set of 8. I don't really keep track of my incline bench press. I don't do it very consistently, but I think my heaviest ever is like 205 for a 5, so that's pretty damn good. This was a PR. I started off doing this in my program as 3-second pauses. You'll see here these aren't like true 3-second pauses, so as the weight started to increase, I wasn't too honest with the tempo there. Again, that's because I don't really have someone count for me. I do this for myself. I probably could, especially because I have a spotter anyways for bench press, and probably something I should do in the future. But they're probably around 2-second pauses, so it's still a PR there for me. So upper hypertrophy went very well, and then lower hyper as well hit a beltless PR. So just like the incline presses were sets of 8 for the first 3 weeks, I give myself a little bit of leeway, and now I'll hit a little bit of a range, 6 to 8. So again, allowed me a little bit more, just kind of more easier way to hit some PR. So this was a beltless PR for me here. And then you'll see I go into some high bar pause squats. I do have someone count for me there. I take like one earbud out. Usually I can't stand hearing like other things in the gym, especially where I train at. But yeah, those high bar squats were quite rough. And I actually hit 2 sets of both of these, that 365 for 6, and then these high bar pauses, I hit 2 sets of 5 at 295.
Go to the new world, no Pinto, no Nino, no Santa Maria. And I still keep it hood with my PS tipping Carlos Rossi Sangria. Kells.
So then I had to make some adjustments to my training program. So I was doing 6 times a week, but this time I had to do 5 times a week. So I pretty much just ditched that lower power day. You'll see my power day here for bench press was 215 for 7 sets of 2, but I just kept the load the same, and now I added 2 sets to this. The reps were the same as well. You also see that I'm experimenting with some wrist wraps here. I don't really have trouble with my wrist at all, except for sometimes when I squat pretty heavy. But I just want to kind of give them a shot, so I did, I think, my first 3 or 4 sets with them, and then a couple without them. They also say I use them on my strength day as well. I may end up using them a little bit on my strength stuff, but probably not my higher rep stuff. I don't really see the point. They didn't help, they didn't seem like they helped me any much. They didn't seem like they helped me at all. And it just kind of felt off. I didn't know how tight to tie them and stuff like that. Even with squats, I used them for 1 set. It just didn't feel awesome. I still had pain on my wrist and whatnot. So either way, the power bench went very well. A lot of volume for me. Something else I wanted to put in here. This is a pin lay row. I've done these for a very long time. Probably my favorite horizontal row movement. But the point I want to make here is you see how kind of far forward my shoulders are there. So I actually lifted this, I think those were just 35-pound plates, maybe like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And now you'll see, it's not as great of an angle, but you can see how my shoulders are a little bit higher. And this allows me just a better position to pull. So if you have really short arms like me, that might be a good kind of adjustment you can make to a pin lay row to make it more effective. And then after the pin lay rows, I do about kind of a cluster set here of dumbbell rows. So I'll kind of just do as many reps as I can on each arm, just go back and forth for 2 full sets, just to get some more volume in. I'm not too concerned with the weight there. So I'm now moving on to lower strength day, which is my kind of AMRAP sets for squats. This was my top set here. So 395 for 6. This felt very well. And even looking at the footage, it looks better than it even felt. So yeah, I can't say much about this. My squats are going awesome. I have brought my feet in a little bit, just kind of a conscious effort. I've tried to make each kind of session to not squat so wide. I feel like my speed in the squat isn't as good. I tend to lean over more, which causes pretty big problems for me. Even when I don't miss a squat, it tends to get really, really hard when I get horizontal. That would make sense. But yeah, this felt really good for a set of 6. Not so much for the 2 other sets after this. I was actually going to try to hit another set of 6, but I actually only hit 4. And on this final set, this is just triple here. You also saw I added the wrist wraps because I was having some issues with my wrist. Still hurt quite a bit, so you know, I may experiment with them a little bit more. But they're probably not going to be a huge help to my lifts. But yeah, that 395 for 6 is, I'm not even sure my best 6 was. My best 5 was last week for 390, so it's more weight and probably more reps than I've done at that weight. Very good news. So next week I'll probably be going to 405 for AMRAPs and see what I can hit there. This was actually the same exact day as the squat day, so I wasn't expecting a ton of good news from this. I just had done the 7 sets of 2 the day prior. I just figured out that my gym wasn't going to be open on Saturday, so kind of just had to do some collateral damage and get some work in where I could. So this actually wasn't a PR. I probably would have been capable of it if I had that proper rest in between, but still nonetheless, only 5 pounds off my all-time triple PR. Probably this is a volume PR for me, so I'll probably hit 250 or 255 next week. See if I can maybe double 255. That would be a pause bench PR for me. So we'll see how it goes. But bench overall went pretty well this week. I kind of got stuck in a off situation. And then finally, pulled sumos on Friday. So again, this will be some adjustments I make. I'll probably only end up squatting twice a week now, which is perfectly fine with me. I need to give my sumos some more attention. So physically, I felt pretty good. And even now looking at this, it was only about 2 or 3 hours ago. These looked pretty good. Just the form doesn't feel, you know, perfect for me yet. That, you know, that's a 405 and that just flies up. So I can't really complain. I also did PR. I was going to try to pull a triple on this day. And looking at this footage, I have no doubt I probably would have pulled it. But being a little conservative. You also seen I have kind of trouble with that last like inch to lock out. So something else I need to work on. My grip has gotten a lot better though since implementing some specific exercises. I'll probably make a specific video about that sometime. And then I just hit a couple of back off sets here. Again, I'm doing the RPE Mike to Share inspired system for deadlifts. It's going very well. But again, I just need more practice with the sumos. Overall though, I'm much stronger. My best pull ever again is 455. So the fact that I just pulled 445 for a double is very good news. So that's it for this week, guys. Again, next week I'll be switching to 5 days a week. Check you out next time. Thanks for being here. Subscribe if you're new. Like the vid, and see you later.